Is it wrong from an Islamic perspective to burn people to death? According to Muhammad, it's perfectly acceptable to torture a man with fire. Nonsense.
This is not Islam. Prophet of Islam made it very clear in the soundest statements related in the books of tradition that no human being should torture by fire. Not even animals are allowed in Islamic law, to be tortured or burned by fire, whether alive or dead. What about a human being?
He gave a reason. He said, no one tortures by the fire except the creator of the fire. Hadith number 2954 in Sahih Bukhari.
For instance, Muhammad had his followers torture a man named Kanana by lighting a fire on his chest. But there's a much more straightforward reason for ISIS to execute a man by fire. The leaders of the Islamic State have modeled their approach after the apostate wars of Abu Bakr, Muhammad's father-in-law and closest companion, and the first of the rightly guided caliphs. Abu Bakr sent them a letter and an army. In the letter he said, "I have sent to you someone at the head of an army. I ordered him not to fight anyone or to kill anyone until he has called him to the cause of God, so that those who respond to him and acknowledge him and renounce unbelief and do good works, my envoy shall accept him and help him to do right. But I have ordered him to fight those who deny him for that reason. So he will not spare any one of them he can gain mastery over, but may burn them with fire, slaughter them by any means, and take women and children captive, nor shall he accept from anyone anything except Islam."
Blah, 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 blah. And you listen to all of that like, what, Tabari? What are you quoting? Do you even know who Muhammad Tabari was, dude? By the way, those of you that are in the field of da'wah, or you have non-Muslims that come up to you and mess with you, or a class you're taking, and Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah is mentioned, watch out. Imam al-Tabari was a historian. Imam al-Tabari was a historian, and his job was to collect anything that's ever been said about the Quran, right or wrong. He just collected it. He wasn't a mufassir. His tafsir is called Tafsir al-Tabari, but it's really a collection of all manner of quotes, right or wrong.
Even professing Muslims who rebelled against Abu Bakr could be burned to death. For instance, a man named al-Fuja'a.
Blah, 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 blah. And you listen to all of that like, what, Tabari? What are you quoting? Do you even know who Muhammad Tabari was?
Regarding Abu Bakr ordered people to be burned, apostates, it is not authentic. And I've been challenging since many days until now. Bring me anything authentic.
Ever since ISIS burned Jordanian pilot Muath al-Qasaba to death, we've been reminded again and again by politicians, the media, and Muslim organizations that burning people to death is un-Islamic, and that ISIS, therefore, is un-Islamic. You may have noticed that the pundits who keep insisting that Islam forbids killing by fire won't actually quote the passage for us. They won't even give the reference. Why is that? Wouldn't it be nice to have a clear command from Allah or Muhammad handy so that we can throw it in the faces of extremists and discredit them in the eyes of Muslims around the world? Why not quote the passage for us? The reason Islam's Western defenders won't show us where Islam condemns putting people to death by fire is that the passage in question contains Muhammad's standing orders to execute apostates, and it specifically says that apostates were burned to death by none other than Ali ibn Abi Talib, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, and the fourth rightly guided caliph of Islam. It's a passage that promotes the very crimes our leaders have been assuring us have no place in Islam. So no one's going to quote it to you, except me. No one's going to quote it to you, except me. No one's going to quote it to you.
The Prophet said, I ordered you to do it, don't do it. Why? He gave a reason. He said, no one tortures by the fire except the creator of the fire. Hadith number 2954 in Sahih Bukhari.
Sahih al-Bukhari, 6922.
Hadith number 2954 in Sahih Bukhari.
Some Zanautica, atheists sort of, who had left Islam, were brought to Ali, and he burnt them. The news of this event reached Ibn Abbas, who said, if I had been in his place, I would not have burnt them, as Allah's apostle forbade it, saying, do not punish anybody with Allah's punishment. According to Muhammad, it's perfectly acceptable to torture a man with fire. Nonsense.